Inside Straight presents the Inside Minute. The left was wrong in supporting the anti-war protesters of the Bush era, and they are wrong criticizing the healthcare reform protesters of today. I'm Otto, and this is the Inside Minute. As I often state with the left, it's about the who and not the what. Following 9/11, President Bush, his administration, Republicans in Congress, and even people in the military were targets of vicious, unconscionable behavior and accusations at a time of war, when boots were on the ground and lives were in play, when we were in a delicate global chess game between enemies, allies, and those who could go either way. These were protests organized by communist front groups, so-called progressives, and other professional and lifelong activists who saw a weakened America as their golden ticket. There were no limits to what could be considered valuable dissent, no restrictions on what level of smears could be waged at the administration, and no form of disruption was off the table. We were told that dissent was the ultimate form of patriotism, that even if a protester's demands would lead to losing a war, empowering tyranny, weakening the U.S., and possibly even igniting genocide, those protests had to be respected and condoned, even if the end results couldn't seem to be more un-American. Flash forward to the healthcare reform debates of today, where now the left is on the defensive against protests. Suddenly, dissent isn't patriotic at all. The truth is that these people showing up at healthcare-related events today are working class and elderly people who have been motivated by something that transcends a mere political agenda. These people aren't progressives and agents of, quote, change. These vocal people are the last line of civil defense against the takeover of the American economy, culture, and democratic principles by the same progressives who sought America's ruin during the height of the Iraq War. Let's face it, no one is opposed in theory to the desire to allow everyone accessible and affordable health care. The motivator for the opposition to health care reform is exactly what I just described. One of President Obama's major mistakes in this grand push to get a monstrous piece of legislation whipped through is that he and the rest of the left and their Democratic foot soldiers hadn't considered that the people who these policies will affect the most are the people who were educated, raised families, and fought in the military before academia and the media became left-wing propaganda arms. There are a lot of them, and their voices are being heard. Unlike the anti-war protests, no one can argue that these people's positions are un-American. They are fighting against big government. There is nothing more American than that. And like the anti-war protest against President Bush, the left is also losing the battle today. They failed to stop the war, they failed to lose the war, and as poll numbers seem to indicate, now they will fail to install their soft tyranny over America. Every American who cares about his or her future owes a debt of gratitude to these grandpas and grandmas, moms and dads who are speaking out, not against health care reform, but for founding American principle and freedom. For the Inside Minute, this is the Otto Show. Copyright The Inside Straight, 2009.